Okay, so what happened here? I played this part of the video when I had no sound. So, not no sound, like there was somebody in home, my significant other. And well, like I'm trying to do this without a lot of edits and cuts and whatnot. So, just couldn't like record her existing around, right? So I was playing without audio, and what I am doing now is replaying the video of the session with a new voiceover or an actual voiceover because there wasn't anything back then. Right here, what we are doing is that we are facing a problem because the intake of oil is good, but we only have one refinery and it's producing too little oil gas, not sure how it's called. And what that causes is that what was good enough to give us a solid fuel generated with petroleum gas is not good enough to also give us sulfuric acid and the which is required for batteries, which is required for blue bottles and whatnot. So we are trying to figure out how to expand this and allow for what I could say is a better handling of the oil intake. So right now we're measuring because we had to remove some of the existing layout because the setup we had was mixing up water in the oil gas output. So I had to entirely remove the piping so that we could ensure that proper fluid was in its proper place again. And I had to separate the refineries at the top because otherwise the water that would flow back in. So this is the new setup. It's not gonna be final. Like I'm not really pleased with it. And to be honest, the thing we care for right now is the fuel, like the batteries and whatnot. We have not yet set them for good use, so we will be restructuring that. Right now, we're ensuring that gas flows, that solid fuels are being produced again. It is a very interesting thing to be able to upgrade your fuels and protect your coals because there are recipes which cannot that pipe right there was the key to expand the functionality. But anyway, to upgrade your fuels is very good. It's very useful. It's very interesting. As a matter of fact, in other games I had played, I had stayed with coal and I had like totally ignored the how can I call this? The intermediate fuels. But in my very last game, which has been perhaps my longest game of Factorio, which I decided to, yeah, damn, this is too good not to record it. I was like, well, there are these things that can only be done with coal. And while I did see technology very late in game that lets you produce coal, it's very late in game. So, and my appreciation is that oil never runs out, or if it runs out, it kind of just produces less. Not sure how that's up. But well, I mean, like it's essentially an endless resource. Even if you got very little from the patches because they slowly run out, even if over time you will have a lot of patches. So I don't know. It doesn't matter if each one of them produces a minimum. You have 50 of them, and you can still work things through. Right now we are starting the main feeding band strategy, and the way we are like extracting resources from it with our smelters. I love the functionality for copy paste. Also, V and H keys are great tools. You should use them. Obviously, I say things I don't do sometimes because I cannot think of everything all the time. But that's the fun part of it. Uh, it's very organic, and I'm not working from scratch. Like I know a bit of the game. I cannot say, oh my god, I know every way to do. No, no. As a matter of fact, I don't really watch that that much content on this. I like to play things rather than seeing them. But one other thing that I do like to do is to go online and search for new games, for great games, for games that I can pour 1,000 hours into and feel like, damn, I wish I had more time to put into that game. Yeah, not all of them are like this. Factorio, for example, I think right now I'm sitting at 500 hours or more of Factorio, and that's okay. I love it. As a matter of fact, I ran the first 400 hours before the Space Age expansion, and I think I played like 3 games of Space Age, like because I was like discovering new things. Like, oh, you no longer can grow endless pipelines like you could grow endless transporter bands. So what now? And that kind of things. Like, oh, I just landed in another planet and realized that I'm fucked because I have my hands and I know about where I landed. Not cool. That kind of thing. So I kept on restarting. I was like, damn, this is too good. This is too good. There's so much in here. Like, it's worth it. It's worth it. So here we go. We have already laid out the output for our new, not new, or expanded, multiplied. This is just like adding more transistors to a something. that bar down there in the center, you could compare it with a central bus. and the degree of complexity of the operating nodules are like, I love this. I simply love this. I mean, this concept of taking elemental things and putting them into machines to produce more complex things that themselves enable and open stuff. It's not just numbers going up, is meaning. And while the meaning that we have in here might not lead us to world peace or something like that, there is a sense of coherency that is very rewarding despite not being a how can I call this? Something that has a real impact on people's lives and that kind of thing, like work or social service or that kind of things, right? It has this impact of complexity, and it somehow is able to feed a hunger that I feel at least my brain has. When I'm not working, I am doing this for fun. So what I work at, I do programs. I do software development. Used to be a call center guy, but at some point I decided I couldn't like just keep on phoning over coding, and I had to start doing it myself. And fortunately, I found this platform that is called Upwork, and even without experience or anything, I found clients, and over time, I kind of have established a way of living out of it. I don't know how stable. I mean, this is real recent, but it gives me free time, unlike anything I had before. And here we are. I hope you enjoy this. I do enjoy doing this a lot. I mean, it's not a job. I do also enjoy my jobs, but like there is always this sense of having to deliver something in particular. What you see here is mostly me in some sort of self-therapy. Solving problems that have essentially no impact. Like, and at the very same time have this inner complexity, which it makes him very beautiful in my eyes. A shout out to the guy that made the game. Because this is one of those games that's kind of one guy's vision, or at least that's the impression I got. I'm not so into fandom, like watching the people that do the things. I rather love the things. Okay, so here we go. the first installation of our brand new top grade second tier smelters. I don't remember the name. These are good because they smelt twice as fast. They also make twice as much pollution, so they are not like it. They're just good. So here we go. Trying to remember which one is the long inserter, which one is the short one. I could just out of the filters, right? But I just didn't think of it. There we go. You must always check that the train is not gonna run over you. Never gonna stop saying this, guys. Also happened a few times in those 3 games I had before. I am actually impressed because it looks better on the recording than in my screen. Like, I guess my monitor is too old and it has some sort of frame update issue or something. So what here seems like just a slower frame rate, which is something that we kind of custom on videos. In my screen, it has this sort of what could I call it? Sheet wiping down effect. So, well, I mean, I'm just glad it looks better. So here are the new ovens starting their production or building the boxes. One of the reasons I do the boxes on top of like just stopping the entire system because there's too many plagues on the band. It's because when we grow to the better ovens, which is gonna take just a little while longer, a couple more hours, those are wider. Those take 3 spaces, not 2. So, well, then you can like change the way the things are set up, remove the buffers and connect it so that the important thing is like the central band and everything else just flows out of that. The idea behind this central band is kind of like also a digestive system. Like, those could be considered stomach cilia and whatnot. Okay, so now that we have installed our great support oven system, instead of trying to pass a band for each band or something, we're doing this turnaround that fills fills one of the input takes of each one of the production pads. So that way we have like a 50% distribution to the first line, and from the remaining 50% we can split and get like a 50-50, like 25 and 25% of the full flow. On top of that, if one of the flows is full, like we can see is happening on the bullet input, well, I mean, it just overflows to the next one. This is kind of like to remain flexible, to make sure that materials pass through all lanes, to kind of like in a way, there is this need for stability of the core products. As you have noticed, science just goes on, just carries on, and like you cannot stop sciencing, right? You could build an alternative method where you have higher flasks output and bigger science fields, but I find that you kind of have to take bites of the world when you do that, and process them and then go take another bite. So the main aim of this is, rather than going that focus, that approach where we kind of like go by stages, I wanted to install this essential research center that is not overflow. I mean, like, that does not just consumes the entire output of the base, and then we have to take another big bite and another big chunk, and then balancing outputs of the. I mean, it's more like stay steady, keep on researching forever, and be mindful of the many different aspects of the game that you have to be mindful. Aware that it's not just a race to technology, right? Like, that's kind of it. In a way, it is a race of technology only by the pressure of the biters and the. But if you like what I'm doing right now, go really low contamination footprint, they won't be as enticed to develop quickly. They won't be as enticed to attack you, and you will be better able to coexist in smaller areas and without issues. Also, I am very strongly inclined to develop solar power and laser defenses that stop it from being necessary to invest constantly iron to keep at bay the bugs. I mean, that's an ambitious future that we have to get to through the use of iron. So let's face it, as of now, we just need to increase our patches production. These things are just marvelous, like I love them. Being able to take away 30% of the consumption of energy of a machine is quite a bit of a feat. I mean, like the factory goes from an abomination to a totally intolerable thing, but hey, we're still getting there, you know? No rabbits were harmed in the filming of this production, just a few biters. I put so much effort into this intake line because it's not the strategy that I usually follow. I go for like cleaner bands, but this particular map was like very propitious for this strategy, mainly because the resources patch were all clumped up together, one on top of each other, while normally they are, at least the starter ones, close by, but separated, so you don't have to deal with the same issues. In this case, the efficienting of the machines. I just love it. I mean, like, at some point we're going to be able to look at the energy chart and the pollution chart, and we're going to be able to see the impact of this stage of the game and these efficiency chips. So what I was telling you is that recent understandings of how circuits work, because I must confess that I played those 400 hours without really ever connecting a red or white or green wire. I mean, it was fun. I played it with different focuses. It was interesting, but the thing is that now it's different. You know, it's kind of like no, I'm a coder, right? Because this game I started playing before I started coding. And that was interesting, right? Like, it was a good stage of life. Like, it's been around for a while. I don't remember when it was published, but I love it ever since I met it. But it was too short. That was the sin. It was too short. Like, I had to play it in marathon mode because that was the only mode that would give me, like, no dopamine and not get me worried about game ending too soon. Yeah, that's me. So, yeah. But now the guys, made so much content in a single patch that I remember clearly the message. I know I already said it in a previous video, but I'll say it again. It's just the thing that the developer lied. He said he would give us another game worth of content, but he gave us like 5 games worth of content, and you're like, what? So somewhere in between fading that review and my own experience in my first 100 hours, which haven't got me to the end, which I love, was like, no, this is worth it. This is worth it. The game is worth it. And I have always wanted to do content, any kind of content. I know everything that matters is like being constant, and the rest will be carried on by the wings of the algorithm. Okay. Oh, I know I do desire batteries and accumulators. But, you know, there are other priorities at a time. Like, I am already doing some batteries. But since we got good power of solar during the day and the steam machines are being perfectly able to carry the night burden, there is this problem where the steam machines trigger before the batteries trigger. So either I disconnect the steam machines or figure out a circuit driven way to like just turn them on when the batteries run out. Something like that. It's not impossible. As a matter of fact, sounds really simple now that I describe it with those words, but we'll be done later. Like right now, not the focus. Not great resolution at running, but it's okay. I love seeing the little handlers doing their thing. And I don't love it, but it does feel like you know, all that smoke feels like things are being done. I'm seeing that there's like still a problem with the steel intake, not even after installing the new. I mean, you can see it has saturated the pad that was already fitting, and now we can fit it to the last pad so that it saturates that last or that first production row. I mean, it depends how you look at it, first iron production row or last iron production row, because that was the one that we built first. But in the end, for the new iron input is the last. So that's that. That seems pretty well fed. And also the bronze production is okay. Always check the train before crossing in front of him. Okay, what is missing here? Are all three red workings? Are all three red factories working? Yeah. That's neat, right? Red is filling in since we stopped the production of the later product chips. But we will need to make sure it is even more steady, like we will use it a lot. There we go. You know, V and H keys are your friends on top of R. Those lets you flip, flap, you know, whatever you need to do with your factories. No, that doesn't look neat. That looks better. In here we're just making sure that, you know, there's twice as much production since we have increased the raw resource output. I hate the burner inserters. I only ever make them by mistake. Yeah, just color the spaces. I love this. There we go. Where are our efficiency chips, guy? Talking to himself. There we go. Now let's plug that into what was. This is gonna look neat. There we go. Looks matter. There we go. Obviously, it's my aesthetic. I don't know what you think about it. Yay, chips for the win. What technology? Everything is good. But we might have to look mainly at the paths ahead from each item. I need concrete for progress, as I need fillers. But I want advanced ore processing as my main goal. Advanced ore processing is gonna let us do much more with the ore we get, and just a little bit of water. So since water is essentially an endless resource in this game, that is essentially just more resources for the same amount of pollution and for the same amount of transportation. So that's a win for everyone. As of now, we sit at 150 pollution, and that is thanks to the fact that we installed all those efficiency modules. As you can see, drills have dropped to 44. Ovens, steam engines 61 are actually our most expensive at a time. But during daytime they go down because the solar panels come and take up the burden out of the power system. Let's add some lighting because it's pretty. Looks better. I have not seen a mechanical benefit of lighting yet, other than seeing where you are and what you're doing. I mean, after a while you can tell that you can see even at night, right? But like, why squint? I will call this the lighting round, not because of actual lighting as the thing that falls from the sky, but as lighting things up. Yay! Night factory is lit. I had forgotten I'd done this lighting round. And seeing that the video is actually very well recorded. I mean, I don't know what resolution you're watching this at, but it's kind of a big screen and it looks fine to me. So this increase on material intake should be reflected all the way down here as full intakes, which we can see we got the iron and copper well coming in, the copper wire well coming in, plastic is all right. As of now, the bottleneck are the assemblers, but that's okay. I mean, like, they're going at a good speed. So that, I don't know what's going on in here. I think someone called me and I kind of have to leave the game to check it. I should get another computer to do these things on. I have a couple old ones that can like just check websites, So I must be attending a call right here. Yeah, so that's kind of it. The chip production is essential, and we have created a good machine. I do not know the total numbers of it, but this is going to be absolutely crucial on the road ahead. As of now, I am not making use of the output as I should. I was just making sure that the output existed. But there's just quite a few goals that we need to consider. We will be assembling in this area, I believe. Well, as time goes by, these 3 pads are going to be needed for something. But right now, the next thing we should focus on is on the expansion of our resource intake so that these new installations can actually be fully fed. We have to feed both the existing ingestion pad and the additional only for chips, only for wiring section. As I was telling you, wiring is one of the greatest consumers of copper, so might as well have a dedicated copper line. If you could take a look at that factory line, it is missing copper ore in its intake. That's what we are fixing at the time. We would like it to be saturated and limit, both the intake mineral intake line to be saturated and the copper plate output line saturated. I just remove turrets whenever I feel like it, because I know there's a lot of them, and that bugs don't really do long distant incursions or assaults from far away that you cannot they don't telegraph for a long time. So I am confident that if there was a problem, I would be able to spot it, either on the radar, either by a warning from something being attacked, or anything like that. So you can plop a turret here and there, nothing's gonna happen. And I just gotta remember that at some point I got to, check again the map, turret coverage area, and that kind of things. You turn the little pads around with R, so that's why they squiggle around in the mouse, while trying to get them facing the right way. Efficiency modules actually let us increase our mineral intake, and now it's 5 per 1. The pollution 1 made, which was 10, now is reduced to 2, so we can get 5 extractors and we will be making the same pollution. We have to decide what's the road ahead. We don't have the blue yet, but we should be installing, still producing the green items that produce that open up additional research options later down the road. All of these are these kind of things we are placing on the list. They are not going to be used right now. I don't intend to, right now, but they're going to be useful soon. That one is just you name it, how's it called? Just a flat out expansion of effectivity of something. Better damage with explosives, better damage in that particular case. So what's up now? We're checking coal. We're taking a quick look at the circuit. How does it work? It lets 600 coal to live in that band before it tries to store it in the chests. And what we're doing right now is putting that coal into this, passive storage. Just because. Otherwise, it might back the system up. And I'd rather have it here in a box that I can pull it out with with an inserter or eventually with a drone. Oh my god. That drill is poking my eyes. I cannot not see it. The one that it has no band attached to it. But I mean, back then when I played this, it wasn't in my view. I would say that I grow the base very organically with very few presets in mind, like perhaps things that I have used in the past or things that I thought could be used. When I go ahead and see Factorio videos online, they all have this grandeur to them, like huge setups that sometimes I don't even understand. Like I know I have a lot of hours in game, but like I have not explored all the possibilities. Like I just do what I feel like doing, and it's very fun. And I am impressed that there's so much to do at the very same time. Nothing is absolutely required, so you don't have to follow a particular structure. I mean, it is a game about industrialization. Like you cannot not play the game, and you know. So that's it, right? Oh, there's coal coming into that line. Gotta fix it. I love the fact that solid fuel is so energy dense and so easy to get. It's a good intermediate point for other. I mean, it's a good advanced form of fuel in my appreciation. I didn't used to value it. But again, like infinite resources, water, yay! I think oil, yay! Sun, yay! That's it. The other, at least in this planet, you cannot like get just like that. You gotta like mine them, and you run out of them, so you need to continue expanding little arms out of the safety of your home into the resource patches, and you gotta bring them in, or you gotta build factories over there. It's very likely you will build a factory elsewhere. I mean, not impossible. You can do it. You could have like a set of bases that are connected by train, and just do the thing they do, and then send the take an input, raw resources, put an output, iron, bring it elsewhere, use the iron to process gears and pipes and whatnot, take it elsewhere, yeah, so on and so forth. But I believe it's if it's already complicated to do with our tools at a single factory, well, I mean the trains have their own challenges. The thing I have never figured out, I come again, I have been playing this game for a long while. I don't watch videos. I don't receive explanations. Don't try to explain to me. I'd like to figure things out. So, yeah, the stop signals are a problem with the trains. So, oh my god, please do something about that mine. I'll fix it next time I play if I haven't. It's interesting how I see some things when I play and some other things when I'm playing myself, when I'm watching myself play. Not something I'm used to doing, watching myself play. But I mean, I do hope there's actually someone out there listening at any of the. Or there will be, because right now it's just a recording, right? You can tell how it was just steam until until solar panels. And well, now it's kind of like steam only at night. 160 pollution. And now the top contaminators seem to be the ovens, not extractors. The smelters, not extractors. You can see the peaks in the production of the pollution that comes from the boilers. These little peaks are for the nighttime of every day. The fluid production is also triggered when we empty the buffer of the oil field, because otherwise the pumps are like steel. I think this video I stopped here because someone came or something. Yeah. So thank you for watching, and I'll do the next one soon.